If you think 10,000 steps is enough, you're probably wrong, right? And that is the truth. Now, this next question comes from Troy out in Bend, Oregon, all the way out to the West Coast. Love that. And he writes the Former Athlete Society and myself this. Adam, I'm currently, or no, sorry, I'm curious how you think about steps and NEAT for conditioning and fat loss. I train 4 times a week, but I'm trying to drop a few pounds. Okay. So what's your target for steps every day? Right? That would be my question. Now, Troy, that's such a practical question. I love it because it's one of those sort of small rocks that makes a massive difference when it comes to consistency. So when I think about NEAT, let's explain that first. Non-exercise activity thermogenesis, right? I look at it as like the hidden calorie burn that happens outside your workouts. We all know, right? We all wear Apple Watches and smart wearables, things like that, right? And that monitors and measures your calories that you burn throughout that workout. But NEAT is all of the various things that burns calories that aren't part of your exercise routine. It's your movement throughout the day. It's walking, it's standing, it's doing chores, even fidgeting, shaking a leg, restless leg syndrome, all of that considers and factors in to your NEAT. Now, when I was younger, I really didn't give NEAT the credit it probably deserves. I thought everything came down to the actual workout, right? But over the years, through data tracking and heart rate monitoring and comparing my own training logs, I realized that NEAT is kind of that silent multiplier. Now, my goal for me, regardless whether I'm in season or off season, or I'm trying to maintain my body weight, if I'm trying to add muscle mass, lose body fat, I always keep my daily step count above 10,000 at a bare minimum. And truthfully, quite often with my coaching job, right, I'm often around 15 to 20K easily. And no, that's not just from my workouts. A lot of that is sort of intentional walking. I get outside, 30 minutes mandatory every single morning, 30 to 45 minutes fasted morning rucks. I pace during calls. I walk all over my facility, parking further away from buildings, right? I take the stairs everywhere I go. But here's the kicker. I also count my conditioning sessions as part of my step volume. I know some people who don't. I happen to do, right? For example, when I'm doing fasted incline treadmill walks with the weighted vest, that's still steps and it's still calorie expenditure, right? Does it factor into NEAT? I don't know. I'm sure it does, right? But the trap that most people often fall into is overestimating how much they move outside the gym. You think you're active, but the reality is you're sitting at your desk or your office for 8 to 10 hours a day. Your NEAT has tanked and your calorie expenditure is constantly low. So, for former athletes, if you want to look, feel, and perform like you used to, getting those steps up consistently might be one of the lowest efforts, highest yields, returns moves that you can make.